there, friends. I am with Misha and Brent Wallsten. So good to see you guys. And yeah, you guys, you both left us. Do you see the sadness in my face? You left us almost 2 years ago to go on a journey, which I hope has been a really good one. Actually, I know it has because we've been in touch some. But the first question I have for you, from a lot of people who haven't been in touch with you as much, is, how has it been going? And at the same time, maybe tell us just a little bit of what's changed with this shelter in place time.
You start? All right. Well, we've both grown a lot just personally. I think that God's taken me to another level of just having confidence in myself and seeing his faithfulness. But especially in schooling, I guess that's the one thing I'll share, and then everything else will be brief, is that I really had heard lies that I was stupid in a lot of high school experience, and even leaders had kind of reinstated that fact. And then when God told me to go to school, it surprised me, and I was like, well, that's not going to happen so well. But then he gave me just a short vision of me lifting up my brain all covered in barbed wires and stuff, and I wanted him to just take it and give me a new one, but he unraveled it and handed it back and said that he loved it. And so, and I valued it in a different way. And then for school, it's just from horrible almost straight D's in high school. I've been on the dean's list consistently, and I just love that. So that's been a major growth for me. And then we've been involved with the church, and children's ministry is going great. And we have a home group that we have in our house. We have the older people, which is so funny because we just always get what's your word for it?
Mamas and papas around us.
So we're like loving and covering them, and then they're doing the same with us. We've been brought food, and they're making sure that we're all cozy and happy here. And they're doing a great job too.
That's awesome. Awesome.
And then I'll let Misha share her.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun being married and getting to experience all of that. And I think this time right now has been almost like a bonus honeymoon. It feels like I think I forgot what an introvert I can be. So it's kind of fun to just get to be together and play games and do lots of art. And I think this year has been kind of an interesting exploration year. We had a lot of loss back home. Just a lot of loved ones passed away this year. So it's been a journey of really kind of finding joy within the tears. And I think that's been a fun way that Brett's really brought into my life, is finding ways to laugh through pain and taking time to really process emotions and letting God into those kind of hard spots and be there. So it's been an interesting journey here. I think not exactly what we initially expected, but finding ways to just really see the beauty in a moment. So that's been cool, taking that into this.
But very, very full time.
Yes.
Full of experiences of every type. Yeah.
Wow, that's so great. Thank you both for, instantly sharing deeply, which of course is true to your nature. You always did that. Even when you were with us, you were willing to share your heart to help others. And I think that's kind of my next question, would just be even further, if you wanted to share. You've already shared both of you a little bit about this, but how is God, especially during this time where it seems like a lot of people, God is doing deeper things in a lot of hearts right now in a lot of different ways during this time at home, shelter in place. So what have you noticed? What spiritually has been going on inside of you? And if you want to, I'll just throw this out at the same time so we can just keep talking. And that is, even if you sense what God's doing, not just in you, but in the world, like how he's preparing us for after this time. So just go ahead and go any of those places.
I think for me, it's been a really interesting time because prior to this, it was the weekend before we found out about shelter in place, I had really hit a place of just in tears of like, God, I just need a break. Like I need to get back to what matters. And when this started to happen, I got this sense of this wave of just calm. And it was like, there's this movie where the person can see ahead of the steps and see where they're going. And it's like, I could see that not only for my life, but for other people's lives. And so it's been an interesting time of really feeling like there's a real sense of people needing to stay safe and do what they need to take care of themselves, but also this really divine invitation of stepping into this time of just hanging out with God. And what does it look like to just rest and to turn off kind of all these things that felt like what had to happen, and instead look at, God, what do I want to happen? And it's things like I've been taking guitar lessons and working out and just getting to talk to people back home that I've really missed, and seeing that it just feels like it's an invitation God's giving everyone to step out of the fear, step into God's heart. And while you're there, it's the safest place to be, but finding out like, what do I enjoy and what do I love and what can I do in free time? Because I forgot what that was like. So it's been a really cool time to get to encourage people and just kind of hear God's heart for them. God had shown me this image really early on of this Disney Plus movie Togo, where it's this ability to see through the storm. And I feel like it's reminded me, it's not that I'm necessarily addicted to chaos. It's just that God has given me a gift to be able to really freeze time and just see what's ahead. So I feel like this is an invitation to really go deep and make heart connections, both with yourself, with God, and with others.
Which is quite comical, because Togo was basically my childhood superhero. So it makes sense that I would be so attracted. So yeah, it's been good for us both. We kind of have joked that it was our fault, because we were like, God, we need a break, and we went to Chicago that weekend before it closed down here. And then after we went, it just stayed closed. So this has felt in some ways like a prolonged pause, a prolonged vacation, although there's been lots of work and stuff in the middle of it. For just what God's been doing in my heart, it really has just felt like a super Sabbath, is what I said before, is that a Sabbath feels like the day where you focus on what matters and you practice what life should be, and then hopefully it bleeds over into the rest of the week. But it's like that weekly time to rejuvenate and live life the way I'm supposed to. So it felt like that for me is just like a long Sabbath. And I don't know. He's done a lot of hard stuff in me. I think that just God being God has been a huge thing for me. Just not that I was trying to really twist his arm or anything to do what I want to do, but I just felt like the kind of sweet reminder and reality check that he's really the Lord, and he's the Lord of my life, and that everything I have is just to be stewarded. And it's in the orphan mindset, that could be really saddening or whatever, to think that, you know, nothing is really mine. But it felt so free and joy giving to just know that it's his. And it's taken a lot of pressure off, because we're making some bigger decisions, and it just has been really intimate. I love that. I love the reminder of his lordship. And then I felt that for me, and for probably the whole church globally, that the fact that Easter was right in the middle here, it kind of felt like the lead up when John the Baptist, you know, so like build up, prepare a way. I felt like he was doing that with me and for the world at large, that it was kind of the purifying of hearts and taking things out, the stones on the road, and it was welcoming Jesus. And it was just felt so cool that Jesus was like the pinnacle of this for me, because I was feeling so in love and close. And then we had Easter week, and it just felt very special. Probably the most special one that I can remember, honestly.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so great. I thank you for sharing. I heard similar things from both of you, just about you were saying, hey, we got a break, we got a breather. But I loved specifically how you said that, Misha, about instead of what we have to do, what do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And actually giving yourself permission to go there and do some fun, enjoyable things. And I think for those that haven't filled the old distractions with new ones, and we actually take time with the Lord and then find out what's life-giving, this has been such a gift, I think, for so many people. So I'm curious, and Brent, you just shared a little bit, but Misha, you shared how God really gives you a gift sometimes to see through the storm. What's some sense of what you think is coming out through this, do you think?
I think I read it somewhere on Facebook. Someone talking about a prophetic word that had happened a while back about how we've been hearing a lot about, the next Great Awakening or the next Reformation. And someone had made a comment of they felt like it was going to start through social media. And I'm finding that it almost feels like there's kind of a twofold thing. One is that I'm seeing people having a deep need and longing for connection and attachment right now. And I feel like as a church, this is the time to reach out to people, especially people that are having a hard time, and just sharing love with them. And then I think you're seeing people who have never, ever wanted anything to do with God are suddenly looking for God because they have way too much free time on their hands. And then I think on a more personal level, I feel like for a few years, have been feeling like destinies are feeling bigger, like calls on people's lives. It's like, you're going to go to the entertainment world and you're going to make a difference. You're going to be going into the music industry. It's bigger focus on the mountains. And I feel like people have gotten in such a big time of rush, that they've let go of dreams, passions, and prophetic words. And I feel like this is a time where God's saying, hey, let's hit a pause. Let's get you refocused, energized, and then let's launch you full energy. Because I feel like what's coming next, if we wouldn't have had the slow down time, I think a lot of people would have crashed, honestly, really quickly, is what I was feeling in the air, is like, oh, people are burning out. And I feel like this is a time where God's saying, hey, stop, rest, and then launch.
It's really good. Thank you, Misha. Really good. And I'm hearing, because I'm connected to a whole lot of pastors and leaders, I'm hearing a lot of similar voices of how people see God using this in such a great way. Kind of like I keep hearing reset button and all kinds of things like that, but that we're coming out of this in a great way, with our hearts much more connected to the Lord. Would you guys release a blessing? We're at that time. If you would just bless people. Yeah.
You start.
Holy Spirit, we just release dreams, invitations, and calls over people right now. We just silence any, I almost see it like barking fear that just is continual, that you will silence the doubt, the fear, and the discouragement of disappointment, and that you will have dreams and invitations directly into your heart, directly into your plans, that people will just suddenly feel a renewed enlightenment of who they are. And we just speak hope.
Yeah.